It's a shame for it. At the old ball game. Hey!
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Hey, welcome back to the Vintage Baseball Corner. I'm Chris. Today we're going to mix things up a little bit, and we are going to open up some packs. This is a Retrowax box from Slater Sports Cards. It should contain packs anywhere from 1982 through 1994. And there's a specific list of packs that are in this box, plus others to fill in the full 25. So we'll take a look at those here very shortly. I want to, real quickly before we get started, give a shout out and a thank you to Phil over at Ilovebaseballcards. Phil actually purchased this box for me as a thank you for a few things that I did for him, which was completely not necessary, but very, very much appreciated. He bought one of the boxes as well, and he's going to open one on his channel. So we're going to turn this into a little battle to see who can come up with maybe the best 5 cards. Don't expect anything huge, but you never know. There are going to be, there could be some rookie cards in here. There'll be some stars and Hall of Famers, but there's also going to be a lot of, the junk wax era cards as well. So this is all going to be about fun, opening cards, enjoying some memories. There may be some players and some cards that I have connections to, and so I may, stop and talk about, a card or two here or there, a player. So bear with me on that. But I'd like to make, I'll make this personal when I can. Very quickly for the background here, I chose some of my favorite cards from this era. Thought I would kind of give you a little bit of a mix. I could have put all Don Mattingly up there. I could have put all from certain years, but I thought this was a good mix of cards from that particular era. So let's do that. Let's open up the box, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the box, Slater Sports Cards, and the products they offer, and then we'll get to opening the packs. All right, here. Let's see if we can do this without knocking everything down. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right, here is our list. It's pretty small print, so I'm not sure how well you can see that. But it looks like we are going to have a 1985 Donruss Wax Pack, a 1987 Fleer, an 87 Donruss, and 87 Topps. Looks like an 89 Donruss, which could include a King Griffey Jr. rookie. 1989 Fleer, which does include could include the Billy Ripken era, along with a few other rookie cards there. Let's see what else is on this list. 1990 Leaf Series 2, 1990 Score, 1993 Topps Series 1, which I believe the Derek Jeter card is in there, and plus some additional packs from that era. So I'm going to spread these out. We'll take a look at them. We'll decide which ones we're going to open first and take it from there. I do want to add just another thing real quickly about Slater Sports Cards. They have various options and boxes for wax packs. They're not all from just the same era, so you have some choices there. They have at least this box on a monthly subscription option. This is the October box for 2025. You can buy them individually, or you can get on a monthly subscription and save a little bit of money. But I would recommend you going to SlaterSportsCards.com and checking out what they have to offer. Okay, so let's separate these out, see if I can do this without getting packing peanuts all over the place. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I stopped collecting right around 1987. I did collect some in 87. So there may be some cards in here that I'm not real familiar with. Let's stick those here. And as you can see, that is all the box. Sorry about that little bit of disorganization there, but I wanted to kind of find out what we got. I'm going to actually start us off with this, call it a rack pack. I don't know if exactly that's what they called it. It's obviously 3 wax packs in a rack pack form. So we're going to cut these. Again, there's probably going to be some cards that I missed. There's probably going to be a rookie card that I slide right on by. So please let me know in the comments. Let me know what I miss. Tell me if I'm dumb and I missed something huge or what, but we'll kind of figure it out from there. So let's, I'm going to save these back along with those. And let's go ahead and knock out this 88 Fleer. Let's see what we can do here. I always did like this design, for sure. Jesse Barfield, cannon for an outfield arm.
You're right, Scooter. Barfield's got a beat on it, and he's got it. Davis tags. Here comes the throw, and
well, real quickly, let me just throw a few of these stands out here. We'll throw 5 for now and add more if we need them. Okay, Jesse Barfield, Rick Manning, Dan Pasqua, Bobby Bonilla, the man who keeps getting paid. Gene Larkin, we got a checklist. Well, let's flip all of these over here. Angels, Dodgers, Orioles, and Braves on the checklist. I'm sorry I took you kind of out of screen there for just a second. Flair checklist. Garth Org, Steve Farr, Jack Clark. Never liked him as a Cubs fan. Never liked him playing for the Cardinals. Wade Boggs. There's our first Hall of Famer, so we'll just go ahead and stick Wade right up there. Dennis Martinez. He was a very, very good pitcher. Solid pitcher for the Orioles for many years, and then obviously the Expos as well. Rich Yett. Ed Lynch for the Cubs. Bobby Thigpen. Mainly a relief pitcher, also a right fielder and for Mississippi State in college, and teammate of Rafael Palmeiro and Will Clark. That was one heck of a college team they had there. And then Dodgers catcher Mike Scioscia. Go to the next here. Okay. Rob Murphy. What do we got here? Slugging shortstops. Looks like Tony Fernandez, Cal Ripken Jr., and Alan Trammell. 2 of the 3 are Hall of Famers. Tony Fernandez was no slouch himself.
And I'm no slouch myself.
Don't sell yourself short, Judge. You're a tremendous slouch.
Juan Agosto, John Marzano, Frank DePino, Dan Plesac, personality on MLB Network now, and is a pitcher holding a bat. Just interesting, the photography sometimes that they did back then. Terry Harper, Pat Perry, Rick Russell, Big Daddy, Frank Tanana. Very, very hard-throwing, long-term pitcher. Pitched 21 years in the big leagues and had over 2,700 strikeouts. Just a really, really nice pitcher. John Kruk, we all know him as a hitter, but also as an announcer. Next, we have prospects for the A's, Walt Weiss and Dave Otto. Obviously, Weiss had a nice career. Not as familiar with Otto. Nate Snell, Rick Rodriguez, and Andres Galarraga. If we have time at the end, that one's got a little, I don't know if you can see that. It's a kind of, I don't know, it's a line in it, basically an indent line. But if I have time towards the end, I'll share a story that Galarraga kind of relates to Galarraga a little bit. If not, no big deal. We'll catch it another day. All right, last one of these. Get rid of the Red Sox sticker. We got a Donnie Baseball Fleer headliners. I like that. We'll add that to the Mattingly collection. Who knows? We might even see if that one is gradable. It won't be worth a whole lot of money, but it adds to the Donnie Baseballs. Donnie Hill. Different Donnie. Franklin Stubbs. Now we have all-star righties in Brett Saberhagen, Mike Witt, and Jack Morris. All 3 very solid pitchers, including Morris, a Hall of Famer. David Palmer. Larry Sheets. Billy Hatcher. Ray Quinones. We got some Cubs prospects, Mark Grace and Darren Jackson. Both very, very solid major leaguers. Darren Jackson played for a long time as well. And Mark Grace, one of Chicago's best. So we're just going to, again, stick him up here for right now. This is going to get overrun. I'm going to cover a lot of these up eventually. Dan Petrie, Tigers. Let me just double check here. I saw him play when he was coming up in Evansville, Indiana, where I grew up. And if you can see there, he played in Evansville in 79, it appears, 78, 79. Played in the same ballpark that I played in high school and college later on, and that still exists today, Bossy Field in Evansville. Johnny Ray, Jeff Russell, Jose Uribe. I think, isn't that card worth like $1 million or something? I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Terry Steinbeck and Joey Cora. So let's do a 88 score. And please bear with me. I'm not going to fly through these things. I feel like I'm already flying through them, but we got Rob Deere, lots and lots of power, lots and lots of strikeouts. Roger Clemens, I know we know that guy, a flamethrower, played in college at Texas and won a few Cy Young Awards. Wade Boggs, another one. So we're 2 for 2. Donnie Moore, gone too soon, unfortunately. Davey Concepcion, one of the best shortstops of the 70s, and still going in the late 80s. Again, I think that there's definitely a spot in Cooperstown for Concepcion. He was an awesome, awesome shortstop. Odie McDowell, he was a prospect extraordinaire. I think he went to Arizona State, but I might be wrong on that. But he was a high draft pick, huge prospect, lots of talent, and had a nice little career, but just never turned out in terms of the promise that everybody had for him. Great moments, Tiger Stadium, September 14, 1968. Set that aside there. Tommy John. Again, another who I believe deserves some Hall of Fame mentions. Ken Oberkfell, Sid Bream, Dave Collins, Pat Clemens, Mark Davis, Paul Kilgus, Scott Sanderson, Mel Hall, still having fun in prison, I guess. He was on the Indians there, which is good because he was not my favorite Cub and obviously didn't turn out too well. Pat Perry and Bobby Ojeda are these. I don't mind the design on those at all. Being a 1975 guy, I guess the colors don't stand out to me too much, and some people don't like them, but I never collected those score sets at all. Again, I kind of stopped. Hey, there's some gum. I forgot about that, but I am not going to do that. We got a little bit of gum stain there on Dave Valley, but let's start with this one. Tom Nieto, and these are the 88s. That's right. Sometimes I get 88s and 89s mixed up just because I had stopped collecting there. Manny Trio of the Cubs. Jack Morris, another Hall of Famer. We'll just stick him up there. Terry Kennedy, Tom Solid Catcher. Steve Shields, Greg Harris, Dave Valley, and that's the one that had the slight gum stain on the back. Got these things here. Alan Trammell, All-Star. Again, Hall of Famer. I'll just set him aside for now. Mark Langston, another hard-throwing lefty. Pitched for a long, long time in the big leagues and was just very, very good. Multiple-time All-Star. This was still fairly early in his career, but very good left-handed pitcher. Expos leaders. God, I do remember seeing those, and I hated these things. That's all right. Tim Raines and Andy McGaffigan was their leading pitcher. Dwayne Henry, Don Robinson, one of the better hitting pitchers back then, if I recall correctly. Ken Howell, Jerry Reed, and Rocky Childress. There's a name, to be honest with you, I do not recall. And there's a good amount of wax on that baby. So, unfortunately, Rocky's not going to do much for us. All right. We're going to keep on going here. This one's a little tougher. Man, I don't like this at all. I like to save wrappers when I can, even though I don't think these are... Yeah, there's wax stuck to this. That makes me wonder. And again, I don't know. I don't see any designation that... Yeah, the 89 Fleer wax was BBC authenticated. Came from there's a few of these. This one is a Leaf. I'm not sure which one this is. I'm going to guess this is not because we got Puzzle Piece. Warren Spahn probably. Again, Mark Parent, catcher. Bob Kipper. Atlee Hammaker, left-hand pitcher. Jose Alvarez. Mitch Webster. Ernie Witt. He was a couple-time All-Star, at least one-time All-Star. Dave Clark, Ricky Horton, Dennis Lamp. He pitched for the Cubs as well. Here's another that I'm not familiar with. Dale Mahorsic. I could be butchering that last name, but do not remember him. Ricky Jordan, Jack Savage, Mike Boddicker. Had a good run in his career with the Orioles. Lance Johnson, and Kirk Gibson. I'll do 91 Fleer next. These come off pretty easily. Oh, the lovely yellow. Let's fly through these because these, if I hated the baseball card design, this would be one of them. Belcher, Hernandez, Belcher, Dale Murphy. We'll set that aside here. Got a buddy of mine that probably has 42 of these, but we'll just stick it there for him, for James anyway. Jack Doherty, Jeff Blauser, Mike Walker, Gary Thurman, Bobby Thigpen again, Tom Brunansky, Jerome Walton. It's good. Enjoyed watching him play for the 89 Cub team that made the playoffs. Milt Thompson, Stan Belinda, and some stickers here. Happy to have that one aside. Let's do 91 score here. All right. Real quickly. Yep, those are different. All right, Tracy Jones, Bill Spires, Lee Smith, Hall of Fame reliever. They came up with the Hall of Famers. Mike Jackson, solid relief pitcher there. We got a Nolan Ryan card, a 1990 highlight. I don't know that I've ever seen that card. We'll stick him up here with DeMarc Grace. Junior Noboa. Jamie Moyer, the guy who almost pitched forever. Chris Hoyles. Steve Jeltz. Again, there was another prospect at the time. Hot prospect. Bobby Thigpen and Dan Plesac. Two, again, very good relievers. Another big-time prospect. I believe he was the NCAA home run champ at Oklahoma State. Pete Incaviglia had all kinds of power. Just never could hit for average and struck out way too much. I don't remember what his walk rate was. Heck, he might have fit in with today's game better than he did back then. But 1939 World Series trivia. We'll skip on that for now. Jeff Robinson. Tom Gordon for the Flash. Willie Randolph in the A's uniform just doesn't seem right to me. And a Gino Petralli. Let's go ahead and do 1990. I think we said 90 in Upper Deck. Let's see what we got here. Never know what you're going to get out of these. Again, if there are any error cards or special cards that I'm missing, please let me know. I'm just not as up in detail on this era as I am others. Randy Bush, Jeff Hewson. I'm going to flip over here to Torey Lovello. Let's see now. These are all backwards. Carney Lansford, very, very good third baseman for the Red Sox and A's. May have played for some other teams too, but very good player. If there's a true Hall of Very Good, he probably belongs. Jay Bell. Wade Boggs. With Bo Jackson getting a high five on the backside. That's pretty cool. Go back to Wade Boggs. Who knows how many Wade Boggs we can amass in this thing. Roberto Alomar, another Hall of Famer. Put him with this one here. Jose De Jesus. And one of the little stickers here. These are all backwards, I guess. So Kelly Gruber. Twins checklist with Kirby Puckett on the front. Or the back, I guess, depending on how you look at that. It has to be the front. Ron Jones. Don't remember a whole lot about him. Man, I hate how they collated these things. Kevin Mitchell. Very good player. Rance Mulliniks. I saw a stat the other day. I don't remember what the stat was, to be honest with you. But it was some kind of all-time stat. I don't know if it was runners in scoring position or something. But Rance Mulliniks was up there in the top 5 or 10. And every other player around him on that particular list were all big-time Hall of Famers. I just don't remember what the stat is. So Wally Joyner, again, big-time rookie and first baseman when he first came up in, I believe, 87. Gino Petralli again. All right, now, where are we going to go next? Let's do this cello. I have a couple of Don Rossellos, but they are the ones that have the blue backs. And 2000 or 2001, I'm not sure. Again, don't like ripping these things wide open, but sometimes you just gotta force their hand. Okay. Now, Kurt Stillwell, Jeff King, Dave Anderson, Guillermo, a.k.a. Willie Hernandez. We'll put him up here. He was the MVP and Cy Young Award winner in 1984 with the Tigers. Mike Scioscia, Cal Ripken. Let's just put him right here with Alomar. Jeffrey Leonard, Scott Fletcher, Jack Doherty, Ben McDonald. Again, another high draft pick, rated rookie here. This is 1990. Trying to see where it was. But he was a top 5 draft pick. If he wasn't the first, he may have been the first overall pick. I can't remember if he was drafted the same year as Andy Bennis, or I think he might have been the year after. Matt Williams, both very good players. A couple of puzzle pieces here. Flip that over. Dwight Evans. Again, many believe, and I tend to be one of them, that he deserves some serious consideration for the Hall of Fame. Very, very good outfielder, cannon for a right arm, and a very good hitter for a long, long time. He just kind of got overshadowed in the Red Sox outfield with Jim Rice and Fred Lynn back in the late 70s or mid to late 70s. Keith Hernandez, again, another potential Hall of Famer, most Gold Gloves of any first baseman ever. Very, very good player. Frank Williams, Pete O'Brien, Dickie Thon, Al Leiter, Scott Terry, Jeff Paterick. Again, not familiar with him. Darryl Strawberry. There we go. We'll just the straw man, even though he was not a Hall of Famer, still had a very nice career. George Bell, serious power hitter, very, very good right-handed hitter. Hey, we got our Billy Ripken, but it's not the one that everybody's looking for. John Kruk once again, Mark Lemke, Billy Spires, Jeff Hamilton, Alfredo Griffin, longtime infield mate with Tony Fernandez, who we mentioned earlier. Jack Armstrong, right-hand pitcher for the Reds. Shane Raleigh, Ron Karkovice, Dave Schmidt, Eric Anthony. There was, again, another prospect that's a rated rookie, another big-time prospect who, played for a while but just never hit the elite status. Tracy Jones, Diamond Kings, Dave Stewart, Jesse Orozco, another infield Hall of Famer, and Ozzie Smith, and Craig Lefferts, a very steady left-handed reliever. I know spent some time with the Cubs along with other teams. Let's do this one here. I'm not sure which. This was the 88 Diamond King, so 88. Get out of there. Okay. Get that puzzle out of the way. Gerald Young. Ricky Horton. Rafael Ramirez, shortstop for the Braves. Jerry Mumphrey. Rick Aguilera. Pitcher for the Mets. Ed Nunez. Garth Orge. George Frazier. We got a Diamond Kings of Bob Welch. No, he was a pitcher for the Dodgers there for a while. Jesse Barfield again. And there's Darryl Strawberry again. We'll just go ahead and stick him up here. Greg Gagne. John Moses. Dave Martinez, steady backup outfielder for the Cubs, and Gerald Perry. So we're moving right along here. Going to go back to this one. It's going to stay a little later. And again, which one is this here? 88 score. John Shelby. Dave Parker, new Hall of Famer. Let's stick him up here with Wade Boggs. Danny Tartable, another strong outfield arm. Mark Eichhorn, John Kruk, we've seen him. Teddy Higuera, one of my favorite Brewers back in the late 80s. Came on like gangbusters in the mid to late 80s. Was a great pitcher for the Brewers until he got hurt. Very underrated these days. Mike Dunn, Nolan Ryan in the 88 score. We'll just stick him up with the Dale Murphy there. Jeff Reardon, Joey Meyer. Now, I could be wrong on this. I'm going to say it real quickly. I'm going to move on. Joey Meyer, I believe, is considered to potentially have hit one of the longest home runs ever when he was playing in AAA in Denver. At the time, they were playing in Mile High Stadium in Denver, which is where the football team played. You can look it up on YouTube, that home run. He just hit the living crap out of that ball. The camera couldn't even follow where it landed. But it's definitely worth a couple of minutes looking it up, and I'm almost positive that was Joey Meyer who hit that bomb. Moving on, Joe McGrain, Stuart Claiborne, Ricky Jordan, Charlie O'Brien, Al Pedrique, and Tom Prince, rookie. Now, let's do 90 score. Speaking of long home runs, I'm just going to show you this one first. Glenn Allen Hill. Another.
You like the red shoes or the blue shoes better? Like that. I like the blue shoes better. Way out of here. Oh my gosh. He hit it on the roof. He hit it onto the roof across the street. I have never seen that.
Just crazy. I mean, he landed a ball on the rooftops across the street at Wrigley. Back before they had the scoreboard and everything. Just a huge, huge shot. All right, move on to Glenn Braggs. Corey Snyder, again, another one of those big-time prospects who had a nice career but never became elite. Roger Clemens. We'll go ahead and stick him back up here. Now, this one feels like it's got some, I don't know if it's some wax or something, residue on it. Paul O'Neill, nice solid player. Carlton Fisk, Hall of Famer. I'm going to stick him right there. Another one of these, the MVPs from 1934. Mickey Cochran. Okay. Tom Goodwin, first round pick. Ron Darling again. Bill Spires. Darren Jackson, mentioned him earlier. Jim Clancy. Gary Carter, Hall of Famer. Just put Gary with the other catcher there. Lloyd Mosby. Kurt Schilling, probably should be a Hall of Famer, but that's another, we won't get into that today. Schilling was a hell of a pitcher. All right, next we have 1990 Fleer. And I know this is going long, but I'm having fun, and I hope that you're remembering some of these players and we're enjoying this as well. Chris Sabo. Will Clark, Players of the Decade. I'm just going to go ahead and stick him up here with Donnie Baseball and Chris Sabo, Jeff Reardon, Doug Drabick. Used to talk to Doug Drabick on the phone on occasion. Back when I worked in the minor leagues, he ran a baseball program outside of Houston, and they wore our hats. So he called and ordered hats every year, and so we chatted on occasion there. Dave Bergman, Mike Morgan, the Banditos, I believe was the name of the program there in outside Houston area. Craig Worthington, Kim Camanetti, Dave Stewart. The big-time scowl looked like the fiercest look on the mound you ever saw, and then he opened his mouth, and he had one of the highest pitched voices, a la like Mike Tyson, that you ever heard. Just did not match. Lance Johnson, Lee Guterman, Darren Dalton, Charlie Huff, knuckleballer, and Geronimo Baroa. All right, next, we're going to open this leaf. Again, I'm not sure. Let's see if it says, I don't see Series 2. I don't see a year, so let's just open up and find out. Not sure what I'm looking for in these. Come on. Trying to do this without clipping corners. Okay. Now, they have a puzzle. It's a nice, shiny, silver-backed puzzle. Yogi Berra. All right, here we go. These are, by the way, let me just take a look. It looks like 1990 Leaf. Bill Kruger, Jose De Jesus. Terry Shumpert, Alejandro Pena, Edwin Nunez, lots of pitchers. Dave Schmidt, Bud Black, Stan Javier, Carlos Martinez, Alex Trevino, or Trevino, depending on how they pronounced it that day. Dave Winfield, another Hall of Famer. Let's just go ahead and put him here for now. Steve Wilson, Kevin Romine, Ernie Witt, and Bob Malachy. All right, now we are down to this stack of packs here. So, yes, I know it's taken a while. We're getting there. Again, I hope you've enjoyed the walk down memory lane with me. Now, 87. I opened a lot of 87s. 87 was probably, like I said, probably my last year that I collected outside of a pack or two here or there. We will not eat the gum. And let's just see here if I can turn these around. Yep, okay. Get this thing out of the way here. Juan Nieves. Juan threw the only Brewers no-hitter in 1987 at Baltimore on a Wednesday night. It was game number, I believe, 8 of their 13-game opening season win streak. It just so happens that I went to the next game in Milwaukee, the only game I've ever attended in Milwaukee, and saw them play on a Friday night when they came back home, beat the Rangers to continue that streak. And then Juan Nieves, who is now a pitching coach in the big leagues, was the minor league pitching coach, AA pitching coach for the White Sox when I was there, and was a good buddy. Talked to him a lot, just spent a little bit of time with him. Just a really super guy. I really liked Juan. Craig McMurtry, or Wunchy as they call him. Gary Reedus, Brian Downing, Gary Templeton. I did like these cards when they first came out. Kent Herbeck, Otis Nixon, Danny Tartable with the Rookie Cup. Go ahead and got a lot of nice solid players there. Mike Bilecki, Chris Bando, Lloyd Mosby, Mitch Webster, Dick Hauser, manager. Fortunately, I think he succumbed to brain cancer and cut his managerial career short and life, obviously. Alvanero Espinoza, Frank Viola, one hell of a pitcher, John Franco, and Tim Leary. Frank Viola had one of the best changeups ever. Left-handed pitcher. Just really good pitcher with a nasty, nasty changeup. I believe he was a big part of at least one, if not both, of the Twins World Championships there. All right, now, Back to Fleer, and I didn't even look at this as 88 Fleer. Sorry, again, some of these I don't remember off the top of my head. 87 Fleer, sorry. Okay. So we got prospects Firevoid and Farovid and Nelson, Mike Fischlin, Mark Wiesman, Dan Pasqua, Teddy Higuera again. Got another checklist, Chris Bosio, Jose Rios, Walt Terrell, Ron Robinson. See, we got some vets here. Former MVPs, Dave Parker, Ryan Sandberg. That's a heck of a card. I like that card. Just going to stick him right there. A couple of Hall of Famers REP to both of those players this past year. Ken Dixon, Wayne Tollison, Brett Saberhagen, again, potential Hall of Famer down the road. One of the best pitchers of the 80s for sure. Bobby Ojeda. Pitchers Nightmares, Canseco, Rice, and Puckett. It's a cool little card there, too. We'll just stick him up there right behind those guys. And Al Newman. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 packs to go. Let's do, I want to save those. Let's go ahead and do 89 Fleer. Is there anything crazy in here? Put that back there for right now, and let's just see. We got a Pirates sticker. Brad Havens, Dwight Doc Gooden, one of the best pitchers in the mid-'80s. Tom Niedenfuhr, Odell Jones, Gary Thurman, Mackie Sasser, Mel Hall, we can skip past him again, Rob Murphy, Dan Pasqua, Dave Dravecki, Kevin Romine, Calvin Schiraldi, a teammate of Roger Clemens at the University of Texas. It's good enough to be and play in the College World Series. I don't remember how deep they went. Joey Meyer, again, the guy that I mentioned about the home run in Denver in the minor leagues. Check it out on YouTube. And Sherman Corbett and Charlie Lee are there. So no Billy Ripkins, no major cards there. So I'm going to do Stadium Club now. Just change it up to a little bit different. I love Stadium Club cards when they came out, but they just got expensive, and that was, again, the time I was, not collecting, and bought a couple packs and then just kind of left it alone from there. All right, let's just see here. Rick Parker. Not real familiar with him. Chuck Knobloch. Is there one? There's two stuck together. What do we got here now? Tim Scott. Barely remember that name. Joe Baver. Pitched for the Braves, I know. Baver or Bover. I think it was Baver. Bill Landrum. Well, they're hiding all the stars in some of these packs, aren't they? Let's just see if we can't get these things. Okay. Now, what do we got here now? Jack Doherty. Oh, there's another one. Hector Villanueva. Catcher, first baseman for the Cubbies. Randy Myers. He was a very good reliever for a while. Turner Ward. And Scott Fletcher. Again, great photography, high gloss on these. They were definitely more expensive, as they should have been. But for somebody coming out of the era of, packs should be X number of dollars, they just kind of changed the game. And at that point, I was more interested in girls and beer. All right, we're going to do 92 Leaf. I'm going to do Series 1 first. Does it say in here? Trying to look on the list. I don't see anything specific on this list that he put out, so it's not one of the key packs. Let's see here. Okay, so just the first card is turned. Paul Ossenmacher, longtime reliever. Cubs pitched for the Cubs, the Braves, and probably some other teams too. That one's a little different. Is that a gold? Is that why that was turned around? I don't know to what degree that might be worth 50 cents instead of a quarter, but I'll just stick it up there for right now. All right, Paul Molitor, Hall of Famer. Gary Redus. Got a checklist. Barry Larkin, another Hall of Famer. Keep Hall of Fame infielders there. Mike Devereaux, Alex Fernandez, Oral Hershiser. Again, one like Brett Saberhagen, one of the best pitchers in the 80s, although not a Hall of Famer. Could be. Leo Gomez, Kevin Reimer, Paul O'Neill, Larry Walker, Mark Leiter, Lenny Harris, Sam Horn. Okay, let's do Series 2 of those. Again, doesn't say anything. Gold Leaf Rookies. Try the highlights. 24 of the most promising newcomers. I guess that's probably what the Paul Asemacher is there. All right, not on the front, so we'll go here. Scott Scudder. Leaf pitcher, there's that. I'm going to stick that on the back. Do that one last. William Suero. Do not remember him. Ken Hill. Long-time pitcher. Rich Gossage for the A's. Man, he bounced around, played for a lot of teams. Man, I do not remember him with the A's. I really don't. That's kind of an interesting card there. Lonnie Smith. Terry Leach. Ryan Sandberg. I like it. Definitely a Sandberg guy growing up a Cubs fan. Chuck Krim. Mike Stanley. Kent Herbeck. Very, very good player for the Twins. Rich Gossage again, same pack, double me up. And Terry Leach is a double. Lonnie Smith's a double. Okay, lovely collation there. Paul Miller. Then we already saw Scott Scudder and Ken Hill in the gold. So we'll take a little bit closer look at that. The gold is Ken Hill. Again, longtime pitcher. I know he pitched for the Cardinals a good bit. Obviously the Expos, I'm not sure who else he pitched for, but he did have a good lengthy career. All right, we're down to 4 packs. I'm going to do 94 Fleer Ultra. Then I'm going to go back to the 87 Donruss, 85 Donruss, and 93 Tops. We'll go to the 94 Fleer Ultra. Bought a collection a while ago, and it's got a boatload of 92 Fleer Ultras. I'm not sure if I have ever seen or had any of these or not, because I did not collect in the 90s. Ooh, okay, we got a little bit of bricking, so let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope that doesn't take some paper with us, but I'm trying to get as many of these separated as I can, or at least started. All right, let's just go from here and take it from here. Okay, Tony, and I can't even read some of these. Longmire, don't recognize him very well. Ray Langford, nice player for the Cardinals. Kenton Merker, a good big part of the Braves rotation there. Before Kevin Millwood came in, I believe, but through with Smoltz and Glavine and probably Maddux too. Not sure about which year's cross. Okay. Tim Myers, I believe he was a infielder there. Charlie O'Brien, longtime catcher. Who is this? Clint Davis. Don't know much about him. He was showing him as a rookie. Is there another card there? Oh, that's still Clint Davis. Okay. Damon Buford. Saw him play in the minor leagues. He was a teammate at one point of a buddy of mine, Brad Tyler. Alex Cole. Shane Reynolds. I think I'm getting all of these. Okay, there's 3 more here. We got Brian Barber. Is that Drabek again? Yep, Doug Drabek. And John, I'm not a crook. What is this? Some kind of insert? Interesting. I don't know. All right. Again, not familiar with those. All right, 3 packs to go. This is an 87 Donruss. Lots of cards I'd like to see in here. I do believe Mr. Barry Bonds there would be a nice find. Nice up-centered Mattingly, or it's a lot of cards up there. The big key on these is to find them centered and not dinged up. Let's see here. Lou Whitaker. Again, another man that should be in the dang Hall of Fame. That's a beautiful card. Centered very well. I'll just stick him with the guys there. Stan Javier, Gene Nelson, Scott Sanderson, Steve Buechele. I spent some time with the Cubs as well. Eddie Murray, Hall of Famer. See, and that goes back to show you the centering and how hard it is to get high grades because so many of them were cut like that. So right out of the pack, it's almost impossible to get high grades. John Mizrak, Mark Grant, Terry Mulholland, Ray Chadwick, Juan Beniquez, Billy Joe Robideau, Fred Lynn, the Orioles, and Jeff Musselman. Fred Lynn, again, another really good player. He was the Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year, 1975, and a key player in the Red Sox World Series run where they succumbed to the Reds in the Big Red Machine. And that is the first World Series that I remember. I can remember it pretty darn well. All right, here we go. 85 Donruss. Again, another black bordered, tough to find centered set. Let's see if maybe we can't get a couple of stars out of this baby. Vic Rodriguez, Mike Lacoste, Dennis Rasmussen, Mike Krukow, Fred Linigan. Just slide him there. John, tonight, let it be Lowenstein. Paul Molitor. Another Hall of Fame infielder, John Shelby. Jim Wolford, Tim Wallach, Lee Smith. Again, another Hall of Famer. Tommy John, another should-be Hall of Famer. Bob McClure, Luis De Leon, and Steve Yeager. I met Steve Yeager at the winter meetings in Los Angeles or Anaheim. I don't remember exactly which year, and right now it's we've gone too long for me to tell that story, but it was a funny story because I met him and didn't know who he was, and he just introduced himself to Steve, and I started asking him all kind of questions about what he did and who he was with and all this stuff, and people around me were just laughing. Then I saw the World Series ring, and I went, oops, what do I feel like an idiot? Here, there's the short version of that story. Okay, now this is 93 Topps Series 1. My understanding is there is the possibility of getting Derek Jeter out of this. So let's just flip this. I think that was a gold one right there, but I don't know. Again, I never bought these. Alex Fernandez, Luis Salazar, Mike Bilecki, Pete Incaviglia, getting hung around for a while, some serious power. Matt Williams, another big-time home run hitter. I think he might have clipped 50 one year, but he did have high home run totals. All right, here is a Bob Tewksbury, Topps Gold. It's weird, I can almost not read the Topps Gold there. I got it at the right angle. The Topps Gold and Bob Tewksbury. Not the name that we were looking for there. Joe Carter. And there's our draft pick card of Rick Green. Definitely not the name we were hoping for. Brian Barner. Kenny Rogers. Hojo Howard Johnson, another draft pick. And Preston Wilson. Alan Mills. Lee Smith. Again, lots of Lee Smith today. And Steve Foster. So that's it. That wraps this baby up. I know we've taken a long time. A lot of cards. I don't know really, to be honest with you, what would be the top 5. A lot of names, but no rookies. So I'm honestly just going to, say, hey, look, we got a lot of fun cards. We got cards from superstar players, and we'll just kind of take that and see. I just don't know how I would even consider trying to pull out 5 of these and say 5 are better than others. Again, if I missed something, if I missed an air card, a rookie, something like that, then let me know and in the comments, please. And we can go from there. So I appreciate you joining me. I have a couple of other videos that either have just come out or will be coming out very soon. 2 PSA reveals, and then also I'm doing a full series on my 1975 set. So if you like 1975 Topps, I'm going to dig in a little to the set itself, some of its idiosyncrasies, and also into my high-grade set and show off some of the cards. I'll do that over a series, if you will. I don't know why that one's up there. Lee Smith, Gossage, Hershiser, Clemens, Lee Smith again, Clemens, and we threw Bobby Thigpen up there too, just because of the college connection there. So again, I appreciate you hanging with me. Chilling, Parker, Boggs. And, come back and visit with me. There'll be a lot more content coming up. It's been a while since I've done some videos and just haven't been ready to put all this together again. So hopefully we'll be able to do that and put together a run of them. Hopefully you'll find some that you like. And there's a Will Clark. Okay, so that's going to be it. And come back and visit with me. Hopefully they won't be this long next time. But we had a lot of cards to go through, and I think it was worth going through them and walking down memory lane. Again, I will bid you adieu, say thank you, and I hope to spend some time with you again soon. Hey, lastly, before I forget one more time, make sure that you visit Phil at Ilovebaseballcards and his YouTube channel, and also Slater Sports Cards to see what pack options they have if you enjoy opening some wax and looking at some players from yesteryear. And it's a lot of fun. I think it's worth definitely doing. So take a look at Phil's channel and SlaterSportsCards.com for more fun. Thanks.